Picture this. You're at a rooftop party long after the sunset has given up. The city is a slow pulse beneath you, and someone is laughing too loudly near the ice bucket. She's beautiful in that controlled way, lined lips, velvet dress, a look she designed for the night like armor. And there's a man leaning in, solid, kind eyes, a patient posture, the type who listens instead of performing. He asks about her work, her family, her favorite book. You watch the way she nods and sips and drifts. 10 minutes later, she's at the other end of the terrace, orbiting the loudest shadow in the room, the one with the shiny watch, the dangerous grin, the stories that feel like stepping into a moving car. The kind one is left with his drink and a thin smile that says he's seen this before. And maybe you have too. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Choice is not the same as freedom. And modern freedom, for all its glitter, does something strange to the heart. It gives you 10 doors and 100 excuses, but when it comes to love, the hand still reaches for the familiar bruise. That's the paradox nobody wants to admit. You can choose your city, your degree, your brand of coffee, your ideology, your therapist, your Instagram filter, and still find yourself unable to choose the man who won't hurt you. Because what you call attraction is often just the nervous system recognizing a pattern it thinks is home. And home, for too many, was chaos. Let me explain. You were taught to be discerning. Don't settle, keep your standards high, protect your peace. So you did. You learned to spot red flags, at least on paper. But the body has its own theology. The body worships the old gods. Unpredictability, intensity, pursuit and withdrawal, the dance that feels like a storm rolling in. When a genuinely good man arrives, steady, emotionally available, unaddicted to drama, your mind says good, but your gut whispers numb. You call it lack of chemistry. You call it something's missing. You tell your friends he's amazing, just not for you. What you really mean is, he doesn't activate the alarm you grew up mistaking for love. People think choice is made in the brain. It isn't. Choice is made in the scars. Choice is made in the tiny places where you were taught that love is earned through contortion, where attention is withdrawn until you bleed your most interesting parts. You learn to be captivating, not comfortable. You learn to be chosen, not met. So when a good man steps forward with calm eyes and no need to conquer you, it feels like you're on a stage with no audience. Where's the tension? Where's the chase? Where's the climax? The story collapses because there's no monster to slay. And somewhere deep inside, you don't know who you are when you aren't fighting to be enough. Here's the knife's edge. The culture told you that empowerment would save you from your ghosts. It didn't. It just gave you better lighting. You curated a life that looks like sovereignty, but the gravitational pull of unresolved wounds is stronger than your captions, stronger than your checklists. You can block a number, you can't block a pattern. You can choose a restaurant, you can't easily choose a nervous system that trusts quiet love. That takes reprogramming. That takes grief. That takes becoming bored with the suffering you once called excitement. I once watched a woman, let's call her Maya, sit on a couch and dissect a man who adored her. He's nice, she said, and the word nice left her mouth like a death sentence. She listed his crimes, consistent texts, gentle curiosity, the way he asked before touching her wrist, how he remembered the name of her boss and the fact that her grandmother had migraines. It's like he sees me, she said, and then paused as if that visibility was insult, not intimacy. Isn't that what you want? I asked. She shook her head before she could stop herself. I want to feel alive. Alive meant cortisol. Alive meant hot and cold. Alive meant the old childhood rhythm. Come here, go away, come here, go away, like waves you drown in because at least that water is familiar. Another night, different woman, different city. She told me she'd ended things with a stable man because the spark faded. I asked her when it faded. She said, when I realized he liked me for real. Sit with that. The moment she felt chosen, the electricity died. Not because he was wrong for her, but because the intensity she chased was the electricity of uncertainty. That's not love. That's survival dressed up for a date. And survival doesn't want peace, it wants a problem it knows how to solve. He's not answering? I know this. He's moody? I can dance with this. He's brilliant and cruel? I understand this language. But a man who is simple in his goodness? Who texts back, who apologizes without theatrics, who wants to plan next Thursday because he intends to be there. Your body calls it foreign. Foreign can feel unsafe even when it's healthy. Here's the thing people don't say out loud. The romantic market is an amusement park for the avoidant and a battlefield for the sincere. Algorithms reward spectacle. Apps turn people into cereal boxes on a shelf. Options become a hydra. Cut off one disappointing head and two more appear, each promising a better prize just one swipe away. This illusion of endless choice keeps you from choosing. And the paradox deepens. The more options you have, the more you fear committing to the wrong one. So you keep sampling chaos because chaos doesn't ask you to sign anything. Good men do. They ask for presence. They ask for consistency. They ask you to unclench and tell the truth about meaning. And that level of stillness terrifies anyone who has only ever trusted storms. If you feel called out, I'm not shaming you. I'm describing a trap that looks like freedom. Maybe your mother loved you with conditions. Maybe your father's attention was a weather system. Maybe your first love taught you that value is earned through anxiety. The body kept the score and now it thinks anxiety means love is near. So when you meet a man who doesn't induce anxiety, your body concludes love is absent. It isn't. It's just quiet. Quiet love is a new country. New countries are hard to live in at first. The streets have different names. The food tastes different. Even the sky looks wrong. So why does this matter? Because the story you repeat, there are no good men, keeps you safe from confronting the truth that terrifies you more. There are good men, but your system doesn't know what to do with them. You're free to choose, yes, but you are not free from your conditioning. And until you learn the difference, your choices will continue to choose you back into the loop. Let's sharpen the thesis. It's not that women can't find good men. It's that goodness, in a world addicted to dramatized affection, reads like absence. It's that healthy men don't perform the rituals your pain expects. They don't provoke the panic that convinces you it must be love. They don't offer the puzzle that lets you prove your worth by solving him. They just arrive. They stand there like a door that opens easily. You touch the handle, and because it doesn't resist, you assume there's nothing important behind it. So you keep walking until you find a door that slams, and you call the slamming destiny. If this feels brutal, breathe. It's meant to be clarifying. You can't heal what you won't name. You can choose a salary, a city, a surgeon for your jawline, a brand of spirituality, a news diet, a therapist who applauds your boundaries. But choosing a good man, truly choosing him, requires something harder than taste. It requires letting go of your favorite poison. It requires grieving all the versions of you that were celebrated for surviving instead of being held for staying. It requires relearning what desire feels like when it isn't starving. And that's where we begin. Not with a lecture about standards, not with a new list of rules, but with the sobering recognition that the heart isn't a democracy. It's a monarchy ruled by what you've practiced. You've practiced chaos. You've practiced suspicion. You've practiced interpreting tenderness as a trick. So of course your body votes for the wrong man. Practice differently and your monarchy changes hands. But before that can happen, we have to tell the truth. Choice without self-knowledge is just a prettier cage. And love, real love, won't fight you for your freedom. It will wait at the open door and whisper, whenever you're ready. You ever notice how people talk about healing like it's this clean, linear thing? As if you just work on yourself for 6 months, and suddenly you start choosing better. No one tells you that healing can actually make love harder at first. Because once you've looked behind the curtain, once you've seen your own patterns, you stop being fooled by the magic trick. And what you find underneath isn't comfort. It's confusion. It's grief. See, after years of chasing chaos, the silence that follows feels unbearable. You mistake it for emptiness, but it's really peace that you haven't learned to live inside yet. That's why so many people relapse into the same kind of lover, just in a different body. Because peace feels like absence until your body recalibrates. I remember sitting across from someone, a woman who had every kind of success except emotional peace. She said, I know he's bad for me, but I just can't stop thinking about him. And I told her something that made her go quiet. You're not addicted to him. You're addicted to who you are when you chase him. Because that version of her, the one who performs, who proves, who fights to be seen, that's the one her nervous system knows best. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. When love is calm, it doesn't feed the same chemicals that survival did. It doesn't hit you with adrenaline or anxiety. It's slower, quieter, steady. And if your inner world is tuned to chaos, that calm feels like withdrawal. It's not that you don't want love, it's that your body doesn't yet trust safety. Picture that for a second. Imagine a person who spent years sleeping next to a fire alarm, then one day it stops ringing. Do you think they'd feel relief? They'd feel lost. The silence would make them panic. That's what healing feels like when you start to date again. You find someone good, and it's so still, so honest, that you start itching for noise. So you create it. You overthink, you test, you pull away. Not because you're cruel, but because your body doesn't know how to breathe without a little smoke. I've watched it happen too many times. They meet someone healthy, someone grounded, someone who speaks instead of plays games, and they sabotage it. Not dramatically, but in subtle ways. A missed call here, a sarcastic jab there. A slow retreat wrapped in the excuse of, I just need space. It's not malice, it's fear wearing perfume. And I get it. Healthy love forces you to confront the one thing chaos never did, your own reflection. When someone truly sees you, you can't hide behind the drama anymore. There's no role to play, no performance to win. There's just you, unfiltered, unguarded, unmasked. And for many, that's more terrifying than heartbreak. Let's be honest. Some people don't want love, they want relief from loneliness. And when the relief doesn't come fast enough, they run. Others don't want love, they want a mirror to confirm the story they already believe about themselves, that they're unlovable, that they'll always be abandoned, that every connection is temporary. So they unconsciously choose partners who make those stories come true. It's not weakness, it's wiring. Trauma is a script, and until you rewrite it, it keeps casting the same characters. You can tell yourself you want a good partner, but if deep down you equate peace with boredom, you'll always find a way to return to the storm. You'll call it passion, chemistry, fate, but it's just familiarity wearing a different face. Let me give you an image. Imagine love as a mirror. The healthy kind shows you everything, your light, your darkness, your contradictions. It doesn't flatter you. It just reflects you. But toxic love? Toxic love is a spotlight. It blinds you, burns you, and convinces you that the intensity means importance. You mistake visibility for intimacy. And when you step away from that spotlight and stand in a soft, stable light, you can't help but miss the burn. I once asked someone, why do you chase people who make you feel small? They said, because when I finally earn their attention, I feel big again. That's the addiction right there. The high after the rejection. The hit of dopamine after being noticed by someone who withheld it. You call it chemistry. I call it survival instincts masquerading as romance. That's the tragedy of modern freedom. We have endless options, but most of us are still searching for the one who will finally replicate our wounds perfectly enough for us to try to fix them again. We confuse healing with redemption. We think, if I can make this one love me, maybe it means I've finally fixed what broke me. But you can't heal in the same fire that burned you. You can only get better at surviving it. And survival isn't the same as peace. Here's the paradox. The better you get at surviving, the harder it becomes to accept peace. Because peace requires surrender. And survival hates surrender. It only knows fight or flight. So when a good partner shows up, your instinct isn't to stay, it's to test, to run, or to ruin. It's not conscious. It's cellular. It's ancient. The child inside you, the one who learned that love comes with anxiety, still runs the show. She sits at the control panel pressing the old buttons, whispering, if I can just predict the pain, maybe this time it won't hurt. And so you choose the kind of love that hurts in familiar ways. That's not empowerment. That's repetition. You think you're making choices with your mind, but it's your body that's deciding, and it always chooses what it recognizes. Until you break the pattern, the same ghosts will keep wearing new faces. And here's the thing, it's not just about men, or women, or dating. It's about what we've all been conditioned to crave. A culture that glorifies drama, that sells passion as pain, that equates desire with instability. You can't grow up on that diet and expect to crave calm. The hardest part of healing is realizing that the kind of love you need might not give you the same rush as the kind of love you're used to. It's not as loud. It doesn't knock you over. It doesn't make you lose your mind. It makes you find it. And when you've built your entire identity on chasing chaos, finding your mind can feel like losing yourself. That's where most people stop. That's where they go back to what hurts. Because sometimes the pain is the only thing that still feels like home. It always starts the same way. A message, a glance, a spark that feels older than memory. That instant pull, magnetic, irrational. It's not random. It's your history recognizing itself. Every person you meet carries a frequency, and your wounds have perfect hearing. They can tell, almost immediately, who will replay your story with frightening precision. You tell yourself you want something different, but the truth is, you want something familiar enough to feel real. The brain calls that safety even when it hurts. And so the cycle begins again. The chase, the guessing, the emotional gambling that feels like destiny. The chaos becomes a religion, the waiting becomes prayer. Here's the cruelty of it. Calm love asks for nothing spectacular, just presence. But presence exposes every ghost you've kept hidden. When someone truly stays, there's nowhere left to hide the parts you've dressed in silence. That's why healthy love often triggers panic. It pulls the masks off. You start to wonder, what if they see the version of me I can't curate? What if they stay? What if they leave anyway? People think heartbreak comes from rejection. It doesn't. It comes from recognition. From that moment when you see, with absolute clarity, that you've been chasing ghosts and calling it intimacy. I once knew a man who fell for a woman that mirrored every unsolved thing in him. She was brilliant and distant, and he mistook her mystery for depth. He spent months trying to earn her attention, convinced that once she finally loved him, it would fix the hollowness he carried. When she left, he said, "She broke me." But she didn't. She revealed him. He wasn't chasing her. He was chasing the part of himself that never felt chosen. That's the pattern. Every heartbreak is an autobiography disguised as romance. We meet people to re-meet ourselves. The problem is, most of us stop at the pain and never read the lesson. Here's where it gets dark. At some point, the suffering becomes comforting. You start to crave the rush of uncertainty, the high of temporary belonging. You confuse emotional turbulence with passion, silence with rejection, and peace with boredom. Because at least in the storm, you know who you are. The fighter, the fixer, the one who survives. But peace doesn't give you a role, it gives you a mirror. And mirrors don't clap. They don't chase. They just show you what's there. That's why so many people run from good love. It's not thrilling enough to drown out the noise inside. Let me tell you something, healthy love isn't cinematic. It's mundane. It's two people deciding again and again not to let their ghosts speak for them. It's staying when every old instinct screams run. It's choosing clarity over drama, repair over pride. That's not the kind of love you fall into. That's the kind you build, with unglamorous honesty, awkward pauses, and small daily courage. And here's the paradox that burns. You can't experience that kind of love until you're willing to lose the one thing you think keeps you safe, your script. The script that says love must hurt to matter. The script that says people leave, so you'd better leave first. The script that confuses intensity for intimacy. Tear up the script and everything collapses. But underneath the collapse, something sacred starts breathing, clarity. You realize you never wanted the chase. You wanted rest. You never wanted the chaos. You wanted to feel alive, and chaos was just the only language you knew for aliveness. So you start practicing new words. Slowness. Consistency. They taste strange on your tongue at first, but give it time. One day, peace will taste like passion. There comes a moment, quiet, almost invisible, when the noise finally stops. It doesn't happen after a grand revelation or some cinematic closure. It happens in the middle of an ordinary morning, coffee cooling beside you, when you realize that you're not waiting for anyone to text back. That your stomach isn't tight, that the silence doesn't scare you anymore. That's when healing has begun. Not when you stop missing them, but when you stop needing the chaos to feel alive. Because here's the cruel and beautiful truth. Peace feels empty only when you're still addicted to pain. Once you detox from chaos, the calm becomes intoxicating. You begin to crave it the way you once craved validation. You start to realize that love doesn't need to burn to be real. It can be soft. It can be slow. It can sound like breathing instead of begging. You start remembering how much of your life was spent auditioning for love that wasn't even built to last. You remember how you confused intensity for importance, how you mistook anxiety for connection. And then, almost with a kind of grief, you begin to mourn your old self. The one who settled for being half-loved just to feel something. The one who kept mistaking survival for romance. The one who kept calling pain by the wrong name. Here's what they never tell you. Becoming healthy means losing the people who fit your old wounds. It means realizing that some relationships were only ever meant to teach you what not to tolerate. That sometimes the person who broke you was just the echo of an old lesson your soul hadn't passed yet. You start to see the pattern like a map, and you finally understand, it was never them. It was always you looking for a home inside the same kind of fire. You learn that a good partner will never compete with your trauma for your attention. They will not perform to prove their worth. They will not chase you into your fear. They'll stand still and let you decide if you're ready for peace. And that's the real test, not finding love, but learning to stand still long enough to receive it. Love, when it's real, doesn't demand that you disappear into someone else's hunger. It doesn't turn you into a savior or a victim. It asks for something far harder, presence. It asks you to show up when it's quiet. It asks you to stay when you're seen. It asks you to believe that being chosen doesn't mean you owe your soul in return. And maybe that's the final paradox. Freedom isn't the ability to choose anyone. It's the courage to stop choosing pain. It's realizing that the door to peace was never locked. You just kept running back to the noise because silence felt like punishment. But silence, in truth, is where love begins to speak. So here's the closing thought, the one that settles after the storm. You are not broken because you wanted love. You are broken only if you believe you must suffer for it. The heart is not a battlefield, it's a home. But homes need rebuilding. They need boundaries, light, and open windows. If you're brave enough to stop worshiping the storm, you'll find something almost sacred waiting in the quiet. A kind of love that doesn't need rescuing or chasing or proof. A love that feels like rest. A love that stays. And maybe after all the running, that's the only kind of love that matters.